My name is Jacqueline Dupuis. I'm the Executive Director of the Vancouver International Film Festival. Thank you so much for weathering the elements and being here with us tonight for the closing gala of the 35th Annual Vancouver International Film Festival. This is quite the room to speak in. I'm so excited to be here. Just before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish people upon which we stand today. I have to tell you, this day is always bittersweet because as tired as we all are, and let me tell you, we're tired. Despite how we look, we're tired. But we will miss all of you. We will miss this. It's truly our pleasure to serve each and every one of you, and we were grateful for your support on every level. This year was an important year for VIFF. With a new look and new structure to our programming, we're thrilled to have seen thousands of films embracing our new Film Plus model. I wanted to share just a few highlights that we're particularly proud of this year. In 16 days, we packed in 324 films from 73 countries at 478 screenings at venues across Metro Vancouver. And we also welcomed over 400 creators and industry professionals to our city. And we launched VIFF Hub, with new late-night series that saw the Film Centre transformed into a funky venue filled with local musical acts, to talks with leading content creators, to the newest forms of storytelling with virtual reality, to forums, meetings, and everything in between. We saw VIFF Hub truly come to life, and we thank you for helping to make this happen. You guys have learned that if you don't clap, I just start, and then you have to fucking kick us. We've done this before. We also opened Vancouver's doors to hundreds of creators from all over the world, including Emmy Award-winning Tatiana Maslany, Eric McCormick, Chris Carter, Nate Parker, and many, many others. And yes, I have to tell you that Eric McCormick did not, in fact, confirm with us that there will be a reboot of Will and Grace, so stay tuned on that front. And most importantly, we gave away over $80,000 in cash prizes to emerging and established creators to support the development of future projects. You guys are a tough crowd tonight. I'm gonna amp up my jokes. Okay. This year we launched new streams of programming to reflect and align with BC as a community and the changes in content creation and consumption. That was a cue. Panorama, Ignite, True North, Impact, Next, Alt, and MAD, as in Music, Art, and Design, and Gateway. With this new model, we've expanded the frame for our audience experience, and we're excited to continue to build on these streams over the next few years at the festival, and also our year-round programming at the Vancouver International Film Centre, where you will see these familiar names be associated with the contemporary and engaging films you've come to know and love at the Film Centre. I sincerely hope you'll check out what we have going on year-round and expand your own frame by enjoying some of these new forms of storytelling as well. But now to the reason you're all here, and we couldn't have done any of this without you, our sponsors, our funders, our fans, our staff, and our volunteers. To all of our sponsors, including our major partners, TELUS, Telefilm, and Creative BC, whose generous support and passion for supporting film and content development help make this festival possible. And to our government support from the City of Vancouver, the Government of British Columbia, the federal government, through Heritage Canada, as well as our many industry, media, and hospitality partners for the important roles you play in activating the festival and spreading the good word. Thank you. To the volunteers wearing those bright yellow t-shirts, these volunteers gave up valuable time from their jobs, their schools, their families to help us run the festival. Each and every one of our 1,000+ volunteers is a valued part of the VIFF team, and we would like to thank them for their tremendous hard work. And to our board of directors who also volunteer their time to do the important work of governing this society. But behind the scenes is where the magic happens. VIFF is fueled by a relentless team that doesn't shy away from long hours, working weekends and holidays, giving up their summers to ensure the festival runs smoothly. I am so inspired by your talents, your dedication, and the incredible work that together as a team you've accomplished. Thank you for everything that you do to make this organization everything it is and will be. Thank you. And now we're grateful to have a special guest with us tonight, a man who really needs no introduction and whose support of our organization has been tremendous. Ladies and gentlemen, your worship, Mayor Gregor Robinson.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone feeling? Pretty good? Okay, up there in the rafters? You do, there actually are nosebleeds in this theater, apparently.
But they're the good ones.
They're the best seats in the house. So great to be here at Science World. Thanks for hosting us to the Science World team, and a huge thanks to Jacqueline and the whole VIFF staff, volunteers, and board, everyone who puts immense time into this. It's an extraordinary festival, and Vancouver is so lucky, so privileged to have this festival really highlighting, punctuating years that have been extraordinary for our city, and I would say for film and television and creative industries all over the world. Vancouver is a hotspot now. Many leaders in this room that have made that possible over decades. It's been decades of building, and VIFF has been, all the way along, has been really an anchor of the growth and the excitement and the potential that we have in our city. And we've seen incredible years these last couple of years. Last 2015 doubled the activity from 2014. 2016 will be a record year even beyond 2015. We're seeing an enormous amount of activity here, to the degree which my good friend, the mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Garcetti, is now calling his city Vancouver South. He's finally getting some props. That'll be the day. But we're gaining on them, that's for sure. And I just want to give a real shout out to all the Canadian creatives. The talent that we have in this city and across our country is fantastic, and we're going to celebrate this whole time. We just need to see more of it, and it's encouraging to have, in my recent conversations with our Heritage Minister, Minister Jolie, there's real passion, I think, in Ottawa now to do more support for Canadian production, Canadian talent, and the creative industries, which is wonderful, because Vancouver, we are totally dedicated to supporting creative industries here, growing and thriving as a city from that, and that means we need support from federal government, from the province. Good to see the province, and TELUS has been an amazing supporter as well, and Telefilm. So it doesn't happen without everyone doing their part. We're thankful to have so many great partners. And a big congratulations to all the honorees tonight. Most of all of you who've made the films that we've enjoyed this last couple of weeks possible. Our hats are off to you. Thanks very much to all of you great creatives. Enjoy.
You clap for that guy. Let's see how it's going to be. Can you put in some funding requests with Minister Jolie for the festival?
Okay.
Yeah? Just double it, whatever it is, don't. So we have a really exciting closing night planned for you, and I know that we're all excited to get to that experience, as am I. And of course, this is unlike anything that we've ever done before, and a large part of this is due in part to the wonderful partnership that we've enjoyed developing with Science World and the wonderful team here to share this IMAX experience with you that you're about to see tonight. I'd now like to introduce the CEO of Science World, Scott Sampson, to say a few words. Welcome, Scott.
So I would like to welcome you all to Science World at TELUS World of Science, and to the largest dome theater on the planet. And what a great place to see a show like we are about to see. I'm going to make a couple of comments about that, but just before that, I want to acknowledge the partnership with VIFF. Here at Science World, we are always looking for strong partnerships, as evidenced by our long relationship with TELUS, and this is an exciting one for us. We are a community-based organization, and we're looking for ways to partner even more. We recognize that the important things that we need to do can't be done alone, and will only be done through deep collaborations. And so this is a great one to get started tonight. So thank you very much, Jacqueline, and it's a pleasure to collaborate with you on this premier event this evening. So, one last comment then about the film. Let me just list a few objects for you. Hydrogen atoms, stars, planets, bacteria, multicellular organisms, fish, amphibians, mammals, primates, humans. Obviously not a random list. In fact, if you were to remove any item from that list, all the items following could not occur. And so I am really excited about this film tonight. And I'm excited because it's a story that isn't told enough. It is the story of everything. It's called the universe story, the cosmic story, the immense journey, big history. It's got many names. It is ultimately perhaps science's most important contribution. Now, I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, so I care about deep time and things in millions and billions of years. But I want you to keep something in mind tonight. As you watch the film, which will be in a few minutes' time, I want you to remember that you're not just watching something about a film that's happened on another planet. This is your story. And as you're watching, think about it as the story of you, because there is a 14 billion year story that has taken us to this very moment, a single history. And there's an infinite number of paths that we could take into the future. Some of those are far more sustainable than others. But the decisions that all of us make tomorrow and the next day and the day after that will influence the outcome of this story. So I want you to be thinking about that tonight, because this film is the amalgamation of art and science in a way that perhaps hasn't been done before. And I hope that you enjoy the product. I think I am going to. So with that, I will turn it over. But thank you all very, very much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the evening.
Very inspiring. Thank you, Scott, and thanks again for hosting us tonight in your wonderful venue for the wrap of our festival. You're all aware that tonight we have an opportunity to announce some of the final slate of the exciting awards of the festival. And in order to do that, I'd like to introduce two important members of the VIFF team. The vision of these two gentlemen and their talent for curating an always exciting and enlightening program of films has been reflected by thousands upon thousands of people who have seen these films over the last 16 days. And to present these awards, please join me in welcoming Alan Franey, our Director of International Programming, and Terry McAvoy, Canadian Images Programmer, to present the VIFF audience awards for 2016. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Hello, everyone. I'm Terry McAvoy, the Canadian Images Programmer at VIFF. Many of you were in attendance at last week's BC Spotlight Awards, where we had the pleasure of presenting 9 awards to local and Canadian filmmakers who stood out in their fields. I want to take some time before we move forward to recap the award winners. The Ignite Awards, presented by TELUS, recognized the exceptional work of a female key creative on a BC-produced feature or short film. The winner received $20,000 that can be used towards future productions and further training, The award went to Jessica Parsons and Jennifer Chu for Caddy. The Best BC Film Award went to Window Horses by Anne-Marie Fleming. The BC Emerging Filmmaker Award was awarded to Kevin Funk for his first feature, Hello Destroyer. The Best BC Short Film was presented to Here Nor There by Julia Hutchings. The Best Canadian Film went up to Window Horses by Anne-Marie Fleming. The Emerging Canadian Director was presented to Sofia Bodanovich for Every Alone. And the Quebec film Living with Giants by directors Sébastien Rist and Aude Roulévêque took home the award for Best Canadian Documentary. Best Canadian Short Film went to Ceux qui restent, Those Who Remain by director Mathieu Vachon. And last but not least, for last week's films, the most promising director of a Canadian short film went to Roman Chen for parent-teacher. And I'm now pleased to present the Women in Film and Television Artistic Merit Award, which is presented to a Canadian feature film at VIFF, written and or directed solely by a woman. And this year's award goes to Nettie Wild for Conolina. I have a note for the jury. Come on down with me. In a field of outstanding films, Conolina is revolutionary and important. The film seamlessly weaves its stories together and is also a thoughtful examination of communities in flux and the many meanings of progress. A unanimous choice of the jury. Conolina. Nettie's here.
Thank you very, very much. Last night, this is the truth, it was very odd. I had a very odd dream. And in that dream, I was in a helicopter or a plane, and it was flying over this azure, beautiful sea. And as dreams go, of course, you have this dilemma. And I knew I had to jump out of that plane or that chopper. And as I flew out of that chopper, I was trying to figure out whether to go head first or feet first, and I opted for head first, and I splashed down into this fabulous ocean. And when I came up, there was a boat. And on that boat, it was full of everything that was good. And I think it included my entire film crew and all the people who appeared in front of my lens who took an extraordinary risk along with the crew. And it also included women in film for this award because you recognized the risk that we took. And I just really want to thank you from the bottom of this filmmaker's heart and on behalf of a really extraordinary crew for recognizing that risk. You know, when you make these films, sometimes it's a bit lonely, especially when you take big risks. And I get this award for a year, right? So I get to do whatever I want with it. And I want to give it away tonight, or half of it, to somebody who actually is driving that boat. She's my producer. She's somebody without whom I could not have made this movie. We don't even like the same movies, which is really interesting. And I say that because we have a long-standing relationship, and Betsy is somebody who backs the filmmaker's vision no matter how crazy it is. And I have to say that during the making of Conolina, which was very, very difficult at times, Betsy was a rock. And I want you guys to applaud hard enough to bring her up here and accept her half of the award.
Thank you, everybody. I don't have a lot of words.
Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Nettie, it's well deserved. And now on to the VIFF Audience Awards. These awards were determined by ballots collected at the end of each screening based on a rating out of 5. The award for VIFF Most Popular Canadian Documentary goes to Spirit Unforgettable. Congratulations. Come on down, please.
I want to thank VIFF so much. First of all, I want to say Nettie Wild, who I just admire so much, even has better dreams than I do. It's so frustrating to me. She sees dreams better than I'm making films. But I want to thank VIFF, and I want to thank the people that helped fund it: Bell Media, Creative BC, of course, who also helped with VIFF, and the Shaw Hot Docs Fund. And because I want to say, yeah, and I want to thank my crew who were so wonderful. I've got this small, it was such a small team, and Tony Kent's here, the editor tonight, and I want to thank him, and Ian Kerr, the DP, and Sean Tozer, the composer, which is a great name to rhyme like that. And well, I'm going to miss people, but also want to thank the producers. Cindy Harmon, who's been such a rock, she's here tonight. And I also want to say Ben Murray and Andrew Barnsley in Toronto Project 10 were so wonderful. And what else can I say? Really, I accept this award on behalf of Spirit of the West, the beautiful band who we all love, and on behalf of John and his wife Jill, who let me into their world. And I want to say, like Nettie said, with Betsy, with the people that you do what they do, John and Jill never saw a cut of the film. No one saw a cut of the film. We just did it because they're artists in their own way, of course, we know, and I so appreciate that. And I want to say also to all the filmmakers out here how difficult it is to make films, and I so admire just getting in there to try to make a film, because it's so hard, and to make beautiful films is just remarkable, because I feel I'm going to sound like Churchill, but never has so little been used. So many films are made for so little, I don't think, as nowadays. It's so hard to make documentaries and follow people around now. The funding just is so hard to get. So I so admire that. And finally, I just want to say, on behalf of anybody that suffers from Alzheimer's, I hope this film makes people see a more human face, which the incredible John Mann has shown so much grace and so much courage. I'm just so grateful for that, and thank you very much for the award. We're very touched by it.
Here. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You just say thank you.
No, I just quickly saying that I love helping people, and that's it. I just have this.
Thank you very much, John. Congratulations again on a great film. And now I'd like to hand over the microphone to this Director of International Programming, Alan Frank. Alan, please.
Thank you, Terry. It's really wild here. It looks like we're looking into outer space. We can't see people, just this horizon. It's very apt. Okay, there was one award given last week in the international categories, the VIFF Impact Award for a film that sparks action and changes the way we see the world. So I'd like to mention again that award went to the German film Power to Change, the Energy Rebellion by director Karl Fechner. There was a $5,000 prize sponsored by Leonard Schein that went to the director. We thank him for that as well. Now, the International Audience Awards. The VIFF Most Popular International Documentary went to an extraordinary French film called Human by director Yann Arthus-Bertrand. Now, interestingly, if you haven't seen that, you should try. It's by the guy who published that book, Life from Above. So as this film is looking into outer space, he specializes in aerial photography. It's an extraordinary pan-global look at life on Earth called Human. The VIFF Most Popular International Feature, first of all, a runner-up, interestingly, The Salesman from Iran by Asghar Farhadi. But the winner, no surprise really, is going to Ken Loach, the British director, for I, Daniel Blake. Now, the Super Channel People's Choice Award, the top prize, let me just say briefly that when we calculate which films are the most popular, it's not just on the basis of the balloting. Many, many films in the festival are well received. It's very gratifying for us to see that at the end of the festival, that so many films have been loved by the audience. But it's a balance of the rating and the attendance. And even though the following film had something of a boost in that it was our opening gala, Maudie, I assure you that Maudie won on its own merits. It played throughout the festival to enthusiastic audience support and packed houses. So let's give great congratulations to Mr. Walt for the Canadian film, Maudie. Now, to tonight's film, Voyage of Time, the IMAX Experience, directed by Terrence Malick. So, Malick long dreamed of using cinema to convey the story of our planet in the universe. Finally, this is it, and it'll start its regular run here at Science World October 22nd. It's an important date to remember because a lot of people wanted to be here tonight and we weren't able to sell tickets. He worked on this 45-minute film off and on for several decades, and meanwhile created some of the greatest works of cinema, for those of you who don't know, starting with Badlands in 1973, Days of Heaven in 1978, which was largely shot in Alberta, by the way, The Thin Red Line in 1998, The New World in 2005, which was about Europeans coming to the North American continent for the first time, and The Tree of Life in 2011, which showed some of this cosmological filmmaking in one section. So we're dying to see it. Before we begin, I've been asked to convey this message from Telescience World team. A reminder to please turn your phones to silent and please remain seated during the entire show. Now, by the way, this is kind of an advance warning for those who haven't been here before. The images are very large and may make you feel dizzy at times. This is true of all IMAX productions. So if you do need to leave, a Science World staff member will assist you to the door. But remember, if you do feel the slightest disoriented or dizzy, you can simply close your eyes and it will pass. You know, this image is about 10 times the size of 35mm, and it will look very grand. So enjoy it. We'll see you at the party afterwards.